It's extremely important to at least be aware of the great financial reset. Be aware that it's not just a flip of a switch, it's a slow, methodical, planned out transition of an old archaic banking system to a brand new banking system. From Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, industrial to technical, from an old archaic banking system to a new blockchain, distributed ledger technology banking system. And there's an opportunity for Main Street to get a piece of Wall Street. Remember, first they resist it, then they sue it, then they regulate it, then they join it. Draper. So today I'm going to show you a few videos and then a video where there's only a couple thousand people that have watched it with the IMF, International Monetary Fund. We're going to listen to Christine Lagarde and she's going to let us know the switch is here, guys. You have to be patient. You have to put on a long-term horizon and you got to stop trying to get rich quick. And number two is you need to diversify. All right, so let's dive right into this. On the back end of every video, I'm going to share with you exactly what I'm doing. But the key to this is to understand what you're doing and build a plan for yourself and take sovereignty of your wealth. So the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is once I get this set up on my screen here. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is I like to go back and connect the dots, right? If you've been following my channel, that's what I do. I have a logical circuit, so I always go backwards to connect the dots forward to be able to predict the future based on historical patterns, okay? Everything follows a pattern. It doesn't repeat, it often rhymes. So this was 5 years ago. Christine Lagarde talking about cryptocurrencies.
One of the main topics up there was cryptocurrencies and all sorts of companies now getting into this effort, not least among them Facebook. What kind of threat does this pose to the traditional banking system?
Well, I think you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard a very large systemic bank here saying that they're launching their digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it crypto assets, currencies, or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago, that is clearly shaking the system.
Okay, so she told us the distributed ledger technology, far from the bitcoins that we've been talking about. But since 5 years ago, now Bitcoin is a savior for the American debt crisis. So now we got a savior Bitcoin for the American debt crisis. It's found its role. And we got distributed ledger technology literally here to change. And the role is to fix the liquidity crisis. I'm telling you guys, this has always been the solve. So this was Jerome Powell 3 years ago, okay? 3 years ago, talking about a digital dollar.
Given the fact that the final decision hasn't been made, you are doing, if I understand you correctly, software development, even graphic design on what a digital dollar would look like and act like.
Yes, we're doing lots and lots of work. We're doing stuff jointly with with other central banks. We're doing things at the Boston Fed, and many of the regional Feds have little projects going on. Here at the board, we have a group of people who are doing software development and that kind of thing. You know, this is really just table stakes. This is understanding the technology and the possibilities so that you can really address the policy issues.
You think it's likely?
I think it's possible.
I think it's possible. We do too. All right, so let's fast forward to this was Friday. So Friday this came out. I don't want to restart it. I wanted to see how many people watch it. Not many people watch this. So this was 2024 Michael Candesa's central bank lecture. So this is a central bank lecture. We're going to watch a couple minutes of this. So this is Christine Lagarde and Christine Georgivino. So the head of the IMF and the central bank. Now remember, the central bank, Jerome Powell is the head of our central bank. And then you got the IMF, you got the head of the central banks. Guys, they are working together behind the scenes.
You talked about the change that the digital transformation brings to finance. At ECB, you are also quite seriously committed to have a good answer on the question of do you need a digital euro? Could you tell us a bit about that, and also how do you see the broader discussion globally on CBDCs, digital money, and especially key currencies like the euro embracing a path to digitalization?
You know, that is certainly a cause that I have brought with me from the IMF to the ECB. So if there is blame to be had at some stage, it might come back to this place.
To us, to haunt us.
Yeah. But
what you just said.
you know, it became
Listen,
very
guys,
clear to me
listen.
at the time, and when I moved over to Frankfurt, it was no less convincing that everything was becoming digital. And you think to yourself, well, if everything becomes digital, why would it be that currency, that money, does not become digital? And then you ask yourself, okay, what is money? Number one, it's a public good. Number two, there are two categories. You have central bank money, you have commercial bank money. Aren't we at risk if only the commercial bank operators actually move into the digital world, move into the instant payment, and use technologies, be it DLT or otherwise? Aren't we at risk, we issuers of central bank money, of being undermined, undercut?
That's a key statement right there, guys. Remember, they can't beat it. They're joining it, or they created it. One of the two, guys. It's all coming together. What they're talking about is we are decentralized. We can operate with each other now. The commercial banks are now distributed ledger technology. You got JPM Coin. You know, she talked about other banks. You got R3. You got Ripple. You got all these companies. The central bank's like, whoa, wait a minute. We need to be part of this.
By the commercial bank money. That's point number one. Point number two, and some of my former colleagues will remember, it was also a time when other national central banks, PBOC was one of them, but not the only one, were charging on and were preparing launch of digital currencies that could have cross-border implications. So then you start asking yourself, okay, there is sovereignty associated with money. And aren't we at risk not only of losing the central bank money that I just discussed, but also of just losing your grip on sovereignty money? And if you combine that with the fact that in 13 out of 20 member states in the euro area, the only cross-border payments, and not cross-border, I'll come to that in a second, but payment instruments were on the backbone of international payment systems that had nothing to do with Europe. You think to yourself, this is fine, but just in case something unpleasant develops, and those backbone of payment systems were to not be so friendly, aren't we better off also having developed something that can be effective within the entire system? Third point, and I come.
Yeah, before we continue on her third point, remember, Trump said we're going to be on an even playing field 7 years ago, sooner than we know it. Even trade, it's going to be fair and equitable.
To the cross-border aspect. The IMF certainly was one of those in the early days who said yes, but all of that needs to be interoperational. Because if we just go alone and along with setting up those digital currencies, organizing nicely protected, self-sustained payment system with central bank digital money, aren't we at risk of actually dividing even further what we complain is becoming a more fragmented world? So that cross-border operationability is something that is also absolutely necessary. So that's what we're trying to do. It's not an easy, it's not a journey in the park. It's difficult. It takes time, technologically wise, from a governance point of view as well. And we are in that journey, but we will pursue it.
We'll pursue it, guys. This isn't, if, it's when. It's not if, it's when. And that's why you're seeing stuff like this. That's why you're seeing Cynthia Lummis's bill that came out on July 27, 2024, announces revolutionary proposal to supercharge the dollar, bolster the economy. Okay, so this is the way I'm seeing it. Okay, you know, they talk about Bitcoin is a fraud, right? But Bitcoin is actually, what I see is this right here, right? This is her bill right here, because we're going to read it together. Bitcoin purchase program established in general. The secretary shall establish a Bitcoin purchase program which shall purchase not more than 200,000 Bitcoins per year. Holy shit. Over a 5-year period for a total acquisition of 1 million Bitcoins. Okay. Conduct purchases in a transact and strategic manner in minimizing the disruption. Hold Bitcoin acquired under the section in trust for the United States as proved section. Okay. So this is how much they want to accumulate. Now, why do they want to do that? Because Bitcoin is an appreciating asset. It's going to look like this. In the macro, it's going to look like this. In the micro, it's going to look like this. Okay. So now we're seeing that Bitcoin is now becoming the love child of the financial system, right? SEC approves BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF options listing. More news keeps coming out. More news keeps coming out. So here's what I believe is going to happen. Okay. Everything they told us when we were looking this way, they were changing everything this way. So distributed ledger technology, on-demand liquidity is going to be the solve for the liquidity crisis within the banking system. It's going to remove the nostro vostro. It's going to remove the double spend problem. Money is going to be able to move really, really fast and efficiently. The more they can move money, the more liquidity we have, the more money is running through the system, the more trade we can have, the better markets we can have, right? If you can move money faster, do you think trade's going to be faster? Or do you think trade back and forth is going to be faster? So it's going to be more efficient. We're going to be able to move things faster, just like Amazon. Okay. And that's going to be the Amazon of money. Then we have Bitcoin. Now, this anomaly came out in 2009. All of a sudden, that can solve the Americans' debt problem when we are in the fourth turning, which is the crisis stage, 2008 to 2030. We are experiencing the crisis stage. There's going to be a financial reset. It is going to be a new system. Okay. So what you're watching is the step-by-step methodical played out with interest rates, with inflation, with war, Russia invading Ukraine, China, Taiwan, that looming, all these things happening, what happened last year. Now, what may happen in between the 1st and the 15th of October, or the 1st and 5th of October, you're going to see some distractions. The P. Diddy thing happening, we're all looking this way as your whole system switches this way. Okay. So what I do is I've been following the same system since 2020. I use the risk pyramid. Okay. I repeat the same things over and over again. I'm only telling you what I do. Okay. You have to do your own research. So I'm using crypto as high risk, high return. It's at the top of the risk pyramid. It's the highest risk, but the highest return. 2020 to 2022, I pulled profits on the way up. I pulled it down the risk pyramid to tier 1 capital. So now we're in 2024. I've been accumulating in the bear market 2022 to 2024. I'm very excited for the back end of this couple. I mean, we're like 50 something days away. You're going to see Bitcoin go straight up. Okay. That's going to create the Bitcoin dominance to dump off into alternative coins. So you see November, December, January, February, March, April. Remember, sell and may go away. So we're going to see a big bull run on the back end of 2024 to 2025 based on historical patterns. I pull profits as everybody's coming in. I'm pulling 50%. I pull it down. I use tier 1 capital. I use insurance. Okay. I max fund my policies. I'm also adding more to my silver portfolio. I use Bitcoin as my gold. I'm not touching my Bitcoin. I'm not selling my Bitcoin. I'm holding it forever. Okay. We're going to be getting into multifamily and real estate because we need depreciation and appreciation. It's a very long-term play. I'm looking more for the tax benefits. And then in business, I'm in innovation or information technology, attention, and education. I'm really lasering in and focusing on my key businesses and future-proofing them. Businesses is a part where I make the most wealth from, along with the cryptocurrency market by pulling profits. Okay. When I pull profits, so I richest man in Babylon it. I work to grow it. So that's exactly what I'm doing. I think the biggest danger in all of this is the hypeness of cryptocurrency, thinking you're going to get rich quick. But if you don't rewire the foundation, if you have bad spending habits now and you don't have a plan now, it's not going to improve when you get $1 million, $2 million. You're going to end up in the same situation if you don't rewire the foundation. So that's what I got for you guys. I love you guys. If you need any support at all, we get hundreds of messages a day. So we created resources for you. In the description of this video, the first thing is a needs assessment. Okay, now what is that? Hundreds of people email me about, oh, the insurance tier 1 capital. Okay, so I want to make sure you have the right thing for you and your family. So what that is if you fill out a needs assessment, it's based on how I ensure my wealth, but it's about you. So when you fill out the needs assessment, a proper team member will reach out to you and help you with retirement strategies. They'll go through your personal needs. What are you looking for? Where's your family at now? What are some of your concerns? Remember, you'll never send them money. It's an absolutely free consultation. So fill that out. My team will reach out to you. They'll text you, they'll call you, they'll email you. Make sure you set your appointment and you show up. I also have an academy. It's Coach JV's Academy that you'll see down below. And that's a great place for like-minded individuals just like you. Imagine being around a community of like-minded individuals just like you, so you don't feel lost. We have tons of live calls in there. We have tons of education. It has evolved. We've had over 8,000 coming up on 8,500 people since 2020. It's a worldwide academy. Every single country could be represented, about 27 countries. And it's been an exciting community. So if you want to tap in and tune in and be around like-minded individuals and be in a community as you continue to rise with us, that would be a great fit for you. So we love you guys. That's in the description of this video or in my social media platform. I hope to see you on the inside. Warriors, rise, get your shit together. Let's go.